Hello, 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 hello.
Try again.
Thank you. I think it's interesting because it's kind of like an interest, and at the same time there's a little bit like, are we allowed to go in because there's filming going on?
That's what makes you guys look pretty, isn't it?
It's having the filter on the camera, I think, you know? That way it actually looks good. Not glaring on you.
Yeah.
Oh, the tricks to the trade, you know? Yeah. Is this for me?
Yes.
Thank you. I haven't figured out seating, I don't think.
I can't hear it. You can't hear it?
I'm wondering if they could turn down the music just a little. Do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Can we just turn down the music a tiny little bit?
The music. Just a little bit, hon. Thank you. Yeah.
I
It's
love
very
it.
interesting because it's like drawing attention at the same time. It's kind of like, am I allowed to go in because they're filming something? You know? Yeah.
It's really interesting energy. And because I love how he's just running around. you
Testing.
know.
He's like, hey, hey.
Is that better? Is she just saying,
Thank you.
thank
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
Just so the bass isn't in the background, you know? Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm really No, I'm not excited. I'm just getting mic'd up.
Okay, how about this? Well, it shows up. I'm just.
These guys from the window keep watching.
That's weird.
The whole thing is really amusing to me. I
Can
must
you
say.
try your headset in here to see if that works?
And it's really cool to watch them because they go, you know, and plus this is going out to the world.
Oh, I mean,
You
like-
look at it.
It's like, yay! Everyone in America will be watching.
Over here.
Around the
Put
world.
it up on Facebook. They're
Like
already
just
around the
popping
world.
in. So.
That studio here, so that everyone can look at it. Maybe a bit corner, isn't it?
We didn't want to have like the background action and
So
the
if people didn't want to get filmed, that was
Oh,
the
is
other
it?
thing I was really,
Well,
like I
it's-
said,
You spoke to them, is it?
yeah.
just
It's a
like what
liability
I was
thing to have
saying.
people in the background,
Some
you have to
people
give
don't like
releases.
to be filmed, so we
Yeah.
have to get permission, and I hadn't done the
Oh, yeah.
permission
Okay.
form.
We
That's
really
cool.
go everywhere, like
Just wanted to test it.
Anything in the background, but it's a photo bomb, you know.
So do you want to do a Facebook Live right now before?
Well, I don't even know if I've got. Let's see if I
Do you have?
I kind of did the post. Let's see how that's going. Do that. Data roaming is off. I'm not on.
Okay, so Hayden, do you have your phone here so we can do a Facebook Live?
Mine takes it straight to a glitch. It takes me straight to a glitch.
What does
It
that mean?
says system overlay, and then I can't get it to go out of it.
Okay.
What does that mean?
It takes me to system overlay, and it's like, you've got a system
Do you have
overlay
your
on.
phone on you?
Oh, for your phone, you
do
mean?
Yeah.
a Facebook
Oh, that's
Live?
okay.
It's weird.
So,
No, I just got mine.
I know you do Facebook Live.
I just
so
got it.
you'll be over here,
I just got it. Okay.
and you'll be over there.
Do you want me to scooch over a little bit?
Let's start.
Whoa.
So we'll do a Facebook Live now, and then we'll start filming. And look, they're filming already.
Super cute.
I think they are.
Kind of looks like it wants to get on. But
Grab your phone and take charge. I would never take charge. Me take charge and lead? Oh,
yeah, mine's not working. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Henry, is that all right?
So type in the thing you want, headline or whatever you want to call it.
Can I just ask you to hit
Are we
record
just doing a
with that
quickie
thing?
like, hey, join us?
Yep, cool.
Can't start the live.
Can you
The
record on
signal
your
isn't
camera?
strong.
Is
That's
that
what I was
fine?
running into too.
Okay.
I think we might just go with the
Too
TV show and.
Hang on.
Oh, actually, no, just
Henry, just saying the signal isn't strong enough here to go live.
For a Facebook Live, it takes a lot
Is
of.
there Wi-Fi?
Yeah, can you, Hayden, could you ask?
Sure, yeah.
Thanks.
Oh no, they have a Wi-Fi if you go on. It's free.
It's free, is it?
It's ANZ. It's what I've been connecting to.
How we get on your Wi-Fi? On your Wi-Fi?
I got a really strong one. We can connect to mine.
Obsessed.
Mine's.
Oh, cool. Yeah, thank you.
It's the ANZ run. Yeah.
It's obsessed. That's the password for it?
Obsessed? Is that what it is? How fun.
It's on the wall over there.
Is it like chocolate obsessed?
Yeah.
That's the bank. Cool. ANZ bank. Why not?
So we're going to follow the energy. We're going to talk about your book. We're going to get you to talk about your book. We're going to talk about the magazine, Holistic Bliss, about you being in Holistic Bliss, the article, and then we're going to talk about your tour. Yeah, that's yeah. I've just been asking, yeah, and let people know that you're here.
Testing 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Excellent.
Out of definition and out of control. I just get really work with the Facebook Live. We got like an extra 50 people on that.
Right now.
So are they going to do the same filming while we're doing it?
No, it's not letting us do it. Okay,
Okay.
done. Let's go. Okay, let's.
And you're in the shot and everything?
I should be.
Yeah.
Do you want him over here?
No, you're going to be over there.
Are you okay?
Yep. In the shop.
Are we going to get the people back there?
I'm worried I might be
Okay.
too big for Julie though. Yep, stream's all going.
So then we're talking to you from there.
Yep.
So if you want to go one more on it, and yeah, that. Yep.
Hi, Lauren.
Hello.
How you doing? Hi, Julie.
Hi, gorgeous.
TV.
Now, because
You smell like coffee.
I'm not mic'd to you all, I'm hearing more background noise than your voices. So I'm wondering if y'all can just maybe scoot closer? Would that work for a shot, just to have you closer to me? Okay.
So how are we all in the shot?
So all of the brown side's not really going to be in the shop.
Yeah. So
It's just too wide an angle. It needs a separate space above your head.
Yeah.
so could you? Is there a possibility to zoom into it, or eventually like get it first off? Like,
We could start off with it.
yeah, and then
Pan
zoom
down.
into it.
So it's three of you then.
Yep. Let's go.
I feel like I want to have this like up.
Oh, hello. I didn't know I had this book in my hands.
There's something about having the physical book there, you know?
Nice, isn't it? Yeah.
All right. Are we? And hello everyone, and welcome to Missteps of Consciousness TV show. And guys, this is another live TV show that we are doing on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, Australia. And we are at the Kawana Shopping Centre at
The lovely Oliver Brown.
Oliver Brown. Hello, Hayden. So everyone, just want to this is actually my last show that I'm going to be co-hosting with Hayden. And so it is a little bit of a goodbye from Missteps. It's been amazing, 23 shows that we've actually done in 4 months. So it's been amazing. I've learned so much, and I'm really grateful to Hayden, and I'm really grateful to Missteps and everyone that has ever watched the episode. So today's show, Hayden, is I'm really excited because this lady I do know as a professional, but as a friend too. I met her around 3 years ago in Australia, and she's amazing. She's an international author. She's an international inspiring, motivated speaker, and she really talks about mental health in such a different way. And she looks at mental health in a way that most people don't ever look at. And
I'm intrigued. Who is this woman?
And so Lauren Polly has written an amazing book. She has an article in Holistic Bliss.
Yes.
And so we're going to introduce our guest for today's show, Lauren Polly.
Hello.
She's all the way from America. So thank you, and thank you for coming on the show.
Thank
It's
you for having
amazing.
me. I'm excited to chat with you all and see what we can uncover.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
I'm really interested for this because I'm interested in what bipolar is and like learning a bit more from a different point of view other than what society gives us, basically.
And that might be a good place to start. I think so many people hear the term bipolar, but they don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Or they know one random person who has very strange behavioral characteristics with that title and then think everyone is like that.
Yeah.
Bipolar is basically, instead of having just the depressed stages of a mental illness, you have both extremes. So there's the depressed cycle, but then there's also the mania that goes with it, which is typically high energy, very creative, racing thoughts, fast speech. And then you flip back and forth, basically huge mood swings from that into more of a depressed cycle where there's a lack of energy, kind of suicidal thoughts sometimes, a lot of very darker inner emotions.
So what actually decided for you to actually write this book?
I think it was a long time coming. I read a memoir about mental health way back when I was 19, and I just knew at that time I was going to write a book about what I was going through. I had no idea what it would look like, and when I was 19, very different life than I have now. It was only recently when I was doing the PR for the book that I discovered everything I've been going through with my own journey. It was really not in a conscious way, but really unfolding for me what I was going through in my own life to be able to put it into a book so that people could really understand it in a very readable, easily accessible way.
So is the book for anyone that's going through it or someone that knows about it? Like, is it like anyone can pick up and start reading the book and everything? So
Now, the book in of itself is my personal story about overcoming bipolar, but the whole idea and the concept behind it is really the other side of any kind of limitation you may be going through. So not only just someone who has bipolar, but someone who actually has any kind of mental illness, stress, post-traumatic stress disorder, social anxiety, depression, and then all of the people who just feel lost and like they don't really belong in the world. And I think anyone and everyone can really relate to that, not just being, oh, I have a mental illness diagnosis, but I feel wrong about myself, I feel like people don't like me, stress is hard to handle. It goes into all of that.
So it's like 99.9% of the entire world.
Exactly.
This is like all of high school and adulthood where everyone's just had all that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what makes it more relatable. I've had people tell me who've read the book that they were never diagnosed, but just speak from the way I wrote it, which was very personal, very revealing, and very inwardly focused. They really could relate to it because that's what they went through too in adolescence. I think a lot of us have those mood swings.
So the tools in the books, are they your tools or have you used the tools? So like, can you explain more about when you realise that it wasn't a wrongness? So the bipolar wasn't a wrongness. So what got you out of knowing that it wasn't, like, you stopped judging yourself?
Well, it's a journey, you know what I mean? And there were many, many different things that I went through in my path. I think the first thing that I ran into was a holistic psychiatrist when I was 20, and he was the first person to start talking about success in life and not just managing my diagnosis. And so through my work with him, it just kind of lit this path for me that if I was more aware of myself, had more of a self-accountability of how I managed myself, my emotions, the stress in my life, that I could actually succeed, not just get by. And then from there, I started discovering yoga, meditation, and then ultimately the tools of Access Consciousness, which really helped take away the judgment and the stigma factor that I think so many people with mental illness have. And that's what I struggled with for so long, of getting looped up into the diagnosis as myself and getting lost in that, when really that has nothing to do with who I am or who anyone else is based on their diagnosis and their label.
So can you talk a little bit more about the tools of Access Consciousness?
So Access Consciousness is a pragmatic and practical energy system, and it utilizes a whole bunch of different techniques, but my favorite part is just asking questions and the ability to ask a question and really tap into the awareness that comes from it. And for me, that was such a huge point because I was so used to looking to sources outside of myself. I was used to talking to doctors and experts. The psychiatrist knew best. He knew me better than I knew myself. So it was really a disempowering role to be in. This flipped it on its ear when I was able to ask a question and actually tap into the energy of what was light for me was actually true, and what was heavy wasn't true for me. It gave me my own ability and my own kind of barometer for where I wanted my life to go.
Well, would you say it also gave you choice? Like, you actually had the freedom and it wasn't all these other factors.
Yeah, which I think is so huge for anyone dealing with a mental illness, especially a more severe one like I had.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice. You're given your label, and when you're given a label, you're told how your life is going to be playing out from here on forward.
Yeah.
So being able to ask questions and then actually know that there's just a different possibility. And I think anyone who hasn't heard of Access Consciousness or is new to the tools, just being able to have that in of themselves, that there are other possibilities and many different steps along the path to actually finding a sense of peace in your life.
Yeah.
And it looks different for all of us because we're all unique and we're all individual. So this book is not a straight and narrow path. It has many kind of off ramps, I would say. Take an off ramp, explore for a little bit, and then, pop back on.
Missteps, you could say?
Totally,
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and doing something a little bit different and more out of the box approaches. And I think that's really, really needed, especially in this day of age. Everyone kind of is looking for a formula to be able to live their life. If I do X plus Y, then I'll be happy, or I'll be sane, or I'll be healthy. When really it's a myriad of options and a myriad of different tools that really work to create that.
So it goes back to that individual, like what works for them and what doesn't work. So like the tools of access and all the things that you've chosen, like you said, like that journey, you've seen what works for you and what doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
With being labelled. So I'd like to just talk about the label of mental health. So in Australia, we do have the label of mental health. So what does actually, like from being from overseas and from the States, what does that actually do to a person being labelled with mental health?
And I think that is a international conversation, not just one per country, because it is so broad. Anytime that anyone tells you you're something, and whether that's you have a label, you have a diagnosis, or you are just a certain kind of person, there's this inward thing that starts to happen where you only see yourself as that, or if it doesn't match the definition that you had of yourself, you try to fit yourself into that. So it kind of becomes this guiding force where you're always trying to go, am I that? Am I not that? Am I that? Am I not that?
Does that create like separation?
Well, it definitely creates separation. It also creates a definition of yourself. So you're unable to really explore all aspects of yourself. And for me, that is one of the biggest messages that I love in my book and what I love to talk about is life and yourself is ever evolving and ever changing. And when you're given a label of any kind, you stop evolving and you really don't push the edge a lot. You only go towards the boundary of what that label has given you. And there really is something to being able to ask questions, really change your viewpoint on yourself and start to move forward from there.
Okay, so when you have that definition about yourself, you go into the judgment about yourself, about not fitting in, being different and like that. So when you come out of that definition and you don't have a judgment, then you actually have a lot more freedom in your life with that.
Well, and I think the whole thing is based on judgment, and I'm just looking at the stigma. There's a lot of, of course, global events now with violence. I was reading one article where someone had done a mass shooting and the whole headline was about them having a mental health issue. And of course, that weird thing in the back of my head goes, oh, wait a second, that must be something like me or someone like me because we shared a similar label. And I have nothing to do with his choice. I have nothing to do with his life, but that's how stigma works, is you get judged, you loop yourself into a definition, and all of a sudden you have this commonality between other people. Really, that's not true. Really being able to kind of look for yourself of what's true for you, what you would like to create in your life, and not allowing the stigma of what other people think you are to really fit in.
So what was it like writing a book?
That was awesome. It was a learning process. I've always been a writer, and I always kept journals. The doctors always said that that was an amazing outlet for me to be able to write down, have an expressive outlet, which I think is huge for anyone going through any kind of emotional issue. You want to be able to vent and get everything out without actually getting it onto the blank page. Actually helps put it out, get it out of your body, out of your mind, and also into a space where it's not going to be judged or labeled. So writing the book, I went back through all my old journals, I pulled out quote marks, and it really led me back into the story of my life to be able to flesh it out for readers.
Oh, that's awesome. So in Holistic Bliss, the holistic magazine of Australia, you've actually written an article, and Lauren is over in Australia doing a tour in Noosa, and she's actually going to be here next Thursday to do a workshop, and she's actually going to be in Noosa Day Spa on a Wednesday night.
Flip it. I'll be in Noosa on Thursday evening. And then, oh wait, I'm sorry.
No, it is. It's Wednesday. Yeah,
You are right. I'm getting my dates confused.
We know
So
what we're doing.
Wednesday.
The 7th.
Yes,
The
7th.
7th I will be in Noosa, and the
Yep.
8th I will be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So could you talk a little bit more about being on tour and being what are you about and what you will be talking about? Like, you know.
So the first workshop that I'll be doing on the 7th in Noosa is going to be Happy Body, Happy You.
Yeah.
And that is really being able to look at mind, body wellness and having a happy and kind of healthy perspective of your own physical body. And that is a conversation that is so often left out of mental health. So
Yes.
often it was medications that kind of numb you out of your body, or trying to solve a problem by your thinking mind,
Yeah.
which really doesn't work. So this workshop will be actually looking at how your body's awareness and having a healthy relationship with it can lead to a happy you. And then the one on the 8th that I'll be doing here at Oliver Brown is going to be the other side of limitation. And those are 3 tools for more possibilities. So whatever your fill in the
Awesome.
blank is, the other side of whatever, we'll be getting into that.
And then you're here for like private sessions, so people can come and see you.
I do one-to-one
Yeah.
coaching, and a lot of my work is really focusing on whatever has been holding you back, and that may be something kind of like me, like a label or a diagnosis, but also people who are very creative and have been running into roadblocks, or there's something possible with your life, but you haven't quite able to create it yet.
Yeah.
They're powerhouse sessions to be able to clear out everything that is stopping you.
Yeah.
So you get to leave with actual action steps to start moving forward and creating your life very differently.
Not just things to think about or...
Oh, not even things to think about, like things to think about and then action to take. And I think that's the biggest thing I've learned from Access is just the choice factor, which does require action. I think so often people go into different systems and it becomes a heady thing, like
Yeah.
therapy was for me when I was younger. There's that, there's the thinking about things from a different perspective, and then there's the willingness to act differently. And I think that's been the biggest change that I've noticed in my life. Yeah.
And what was it like to have an article in an Australian magazine on the other side of the world? What was it like?
It's very exciting. I've been doing most of my PR in America, so it's
Yeah.
been flourishing there. And now it's just kind of cool planting these little seeds. This is my second trip to Australia. I was here about 3 years ago. Love the country. So, yeah, Holistic Bliss is absolutely wonderful. They've got such a healthy, different perspective. And, the biggest thing that really changed my care was looking at things from a holistic perspective, including everything.
Yeah.
Not judging anything, not
Yeah.
excluding or having to jump systems, but I was willing to utilize any single thing that I could get my hands on that I knew would make a difference. And this magazine is beautiful because it really looks at different possibilities that way.
It is a great magazine. I love it. Oh, well, I work with it,
for it
so
as
it is amazing. And it just shows off all different types of things that probably people don't look at it. Well, it just gives you a different way of looking at things. So it's just really, it's a magazine that can change the world. So, yeah. So Holistic Bliss magazine in Australia.
Where can we find your book, might I ask?
Yeah.
Where can we find your book?
Yeah.
might I ask?
You can buy it on Amazon here in Australia, and then it's also sold on Target.com. And I noticed you all have Targets here in
Yes.
Australia, which was a
Tons of
surprise.
Targets, don't worry.
Yeah, so I think if you go on there from Australia, you could probably purchase it as well. And then it just went to the Frankfurt Book Fair for sales and for overseas distribution internationally. So it might be in bookstores soon over here.
And you do have some copies here, so if anyone would love to buy a copy from Lauren, you can definitely get it while Lauren's in Australia. So that would be fantastic. And you can actually, on the workshops, you can buy them at the workshops on Wednesday and Thursday night. Awesome. Thank you. It's just amazing, and it's amazing to have you in person and to have you here in Australia. It's your energy and what you're about, like the change in you is just amazing. Like,
and I think
you inspire, you really do. You inspire a different possibility, and you have this energy of, well, you don't look at yourself as wrong. So with it, and so that inspires me.
And that was a long time coming. And I think that's the important thing for people who don't know me or are new to these tools. It is a step-by-step process. It is totally possible and very accessible. And I think that's the bigger thing is you hear this talk about different possibilities. Those of you who are in the middle of it right now trying to deal with it, it may seem like a far way off. You just need to start getting tools and perspectives that actually serve the entirety of you. And not just talk to the diagnosis like that is you. And that's really what this message is developing all aspects of yourself so that you can live a happy life, you know?
And it's like you go beyond the labels. I know with me being labelled as ADD, a problem child, I actually went beyond that label. And I looked at, I don't look at what I got diagnosed as a wrongness or a lesson. I actually see it now that it is actually a strength. So if you can get beyond, so that's what you're saying, get beyond that label and actually, get to know who you are. You're not the label.
You are not the label, and you're not the judgment that comes with the label.
Yeah.
And when I talk about the other side of bipolar, the other side is where you don't have any more judgment on it.
That's where you actually are.
Exactly, and that actually opens up the space for you to explore it as a gift. And when I start talking about seeing your disability, quote unquote, as a gift, a lot of people look at me very strangely. It's because there's still judgment there. We really need to hit the judgment factor. That's what my workshops and my sessions work on. And then being able from there, that opens the space for you to go, wait a second, there may be something right about me if I wasn't in judgment of it. And then that's an open playing ground to start exploring and evolving and really moving into a bigger quality of life.
Cool. And would you have any final words for anyone at home that is currently going through bipolar or any other thing like anxiety attacks or whatever?
Yeah, I would just say that there is hope. Do not give up on that. And I was close a lot of times thinking that it was just a dark end of the tunnel. And really there is a light, even if it's just very, very minimal right now. And being able to keep that hope alive and whatever gives you that inner spark and really lights that fire in your belly, follow that. And that for me was the biggest change. I noticed right when someone said something, I would get that warm sensation of hope. I would always continue in that direction. And I think that's important for everybody to know.
So there is possibilities.
Yes.
There is more, I love that energy of hope because there is more. It's no, the door's here, that's it, Yeah, awesome. Well, guys, we've come to the end of the show. Thank you, Lauren, for being here.
Well, just being.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
So, okay, we're going to say goodbye, and it's awesome. Okay, see you guys.
Right, thank you.
Bye.
Cool. Awesome.
All right, all done.
All done.
Yeah.
Sweet. I'm just gonna
Thank you, guys. I love how the noise really increased when we went on. Yeah. Woo!
That was funny. I just looked at him. I opened it and it's